Breaking news, Nigerians. CBN, Buhari, Malami bow to Supreme Court order, make fresh announcement on Naira swap deadline. These people are just playing with Nigerians. It's a disgrace that you cannot say one thing and hold it. Tomorrow you will push this way. The other day you say the other one. And all these things is on the poor masses out there. May God not let us witness this kind of administration in Nigeria. Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and the Minister of Justice declared yesterday that while the federal government would abide by the Supreme Court's decision to stop the Central Bank of Nigeria's CBN demonetization policy, it will also take the necessary actions to overturn the temporary injunction. The CBN's deadline for the implementation of the demonetization policy was stopped by the Supreme Court in a decision on Wednesday, and the hearing date of February 15th was set. Malami made it clear that despite its intention to contest the ruling and its commitment to acting within the bounds of the law, the federal government will, out of respect for the rule of law, added to the top court decision. In a recent interview on the Arise News channel, Malami made some remarks. The minister's remarks coincided with these days learning that the federal government had submitted arguments to the Supreme Court in support of its position that the three state lawsuits challenging the CBN's deadline of the February 10th for the phase out of the old 1,500, 200 banknotes should be dismissed. The ongoing shortage of fresh banknotes was blamed on Horin yesterday as well, according to the CBN. Major General Babangida Magano, the National Security Advisor, NSA, however, urged the House of Representatives to provide workable solutions to the accompanying economic problem brought on by the shortage of the redesigned Naira notes. The Alliance of Surviving COVID-19 and Beyond and the civil society organization asked the CBN to abide by the Supreme Court ruling, temporarily preventing it from moving through with the plan to phase out the old banknotes starting today until the hearing on the subject. The CBN was supposed to discontinue the issuing old Naira notes in denominations of 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira as of February 10, but was temporarily prevented from doing so by a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court, chaired by Justice John Okoro. During a decision on an ex parte application filed by the state of Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara against the AGF, the order was made. Meanwhile, while their lawsuit challenging the CBN's Naira redesign strategy was being held and decided, they had sought the court to grant an interim injunction against the government. The three states made many arguments, including that the program had put the nation in a terrible predicament, and that if the Supreme Court did not act quickly, there may be chaos. They claim that since the policies release, there has been a severe scarcity of new Naira notes in their state, which has made it very difficult for individuals to get the new notes. Even though they contended that the federal government's notice time was insufficient. They said that the CBN failed to follow the established process for enacting the policy. Malami said that the federal government has already established procedures to contest the Supreme Court's authority to hear the three-state lawsuit. He urged that the Supreme Court wrongly denied linguistic jurisdiction by the simple fact that the CBN was not included as a party to the lawsuit. On the one hand, the federal government would contest the Supreme Court authorities to hear the case, he added. And on the other hand, they would examine whether the interim ruling would be revoked when the courts recognized I beg your pardon. He said the order was granted by the Supreme Court and the order accidentally lapses on Wednesday, which is the day of the hearing. With that position in mind, we have taken steps to file an objection challenging the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the matter. The minister explained jurisdiction on the grounds that when you talk of monetary policy, regardless of the characters they take the central bank is an indispensable and a necessary party for that matter. What we have at hand is a situation where the central bank was not joined as a party. And if the central bank as an institution was not joined as a party, the position of the law is clear that the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court cannot be properly invoked. So we have given consideration to the diverse issues, inclusive of the issue of jurisdiction, and come Wednesday, we will argue the case from that perspective, among others. Malami added, I think that what we are talking about is not whether the ruling is binding or not binding. We are talking about what we intended to do. There is no doubt about the fact that the ruling of the Supreme Court, regardless of the prevailing circumstances, is binding and then within the context of the rule of law. You can equally take steps that are valuable to you within the context of the spirit and circumstances of the rule of law. And what we are doing, in essence, is in compliance with the rule of law, both in terms of obedience to the ruling and in terms of challenging the ruling by law, of putting across our own side of the story, putting across our case, challenging jurisdiction, the statement reads in part. I'm now wondering when AGF, Abubakar Malami, and President Muhammadu Buhari don't they obey rule of law. This thing wey una dey do, e dey front dey wait una. All this wahala now on top of poor man head na e dey, because the heat when Nigerians dey get, I'm not sure say una get am. Even this new Naira note we are talking about, don't be surprised that these people they've already have it in bags in their rooms. May God have mercy on us. So guys, let's hear from you. What's your take on this? Kindly share your view below the comment section.